Jaco, we are very glad to interview you from Nairobi. We are interviewing you for a program we call Africa Rising, which is a series of interviews that we are doing with business leaders across the continent, talking about business, technology, and the future of this beautiful continent of ours. We are quite glad that you have been part of the team that has been growing your brand across the continent. This interview is basically to hear from you and to talk about your brand, your business, and the future in this continent. But before we do start, please give us a brief about yourself and your brand and business across the continent.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you for your time. I'm Jaco Beyers, fortunate to be 17 years with John Deere. For those who don't know who's John Deere, we started as an agricultural company in 1837, and actually started with a plow. And today we are a global company that produces, as actually the leading producer of agricultural equipment and construction equipment on the continent. 17 years ago, I started as a field territory manager, working with local dealers here in South Africa, and then expanded into additional management roles into sub-Saharan Africa. Had an opportunity to do strategic planning for Asia, Southeast Asia, China, India. And then I moved to the US, where I worked on a few projects in North America, future product marketing. Came back as the sales director for Africa, Middle East, and now I'm fortunate to be the managing director for Africa, Middle East. I'm married to a beautiful lady and two kids, so trying to balance family life, work-life balance, and then of course driving this ship. I'm fortunate to work with for one of I believe the best agricultural company on the continent, dealer network second to none. A dealer network that invests millions on infrastructure, tools and so forth to ensure we can look after our customers. But then also in the last 3 months we took over the construction and forestry division. So now we can look after the infrastructure, mining, all the way to food security for Africa, and really looking forward to that challenge and take our well-known agricultural brand just to the next level.
In the last 1 year plus, we've gone through the COVID-19 pandemic. I just wanted to know how your business has handled that, and if there are any small changes that you've had to make during this time.
Yeah, good question. Yes, COVID-19 has been a massive challenge. Fortunately for us, we've got these, we call them dealers of tomorrow, strong dealers with the right infrastructure that were able to keep our customers going. For us, the challenge was logistically, ensure we get the right parts still for our customers. And if you think of it, when a farmer needs to plant, they need to plant in that specific day. Otherwise, they lose, the planting window is just so short. We moved almost heaven and earth in order to ensure we can get the parts there in time, and when not, we made plans. We're not out of COVID yet. I think we're still going to be with it for quite some time, but we managed to put from a plan A to a plan Z to ensure continuity as we ensure we can keep our customers going. And remember now, it's on the construction side, it's on the agricultural side. All these customers are quite critical. We also moved to a digital phase in communicating to our customers. We launched a platform called Tech Terrain actually also there in Kenya available, where we share new technologies and actually started to gaining some really good traction on that front as well, Francis.
Yes. Now, what I was saying is that as a business, as John Deere in the Africa and Middle East region, you said you are covering agriculture and you've added recently construction and forestry. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about some of the solutions that we provide in those three segments.
Francis, I'll answer you in three elements. The first one on the agricultural side, then we'll do construction, and then the forestry side. So on construction, on the agricultural side, we bring solutions from the small new era farmer all the way to the large agro processor, or say it differently, from the used piece of equipment, maybe 30 years old, all the way to a brand new combine. We've got a brand promise to look after those customers and bring in technologies in order to improve the productivity of a customer. Now, when it comes to a new era farmer, it can be something as a tractor, ripper, and a planter combination. Believe it or not, that's actually technology that will help the farmer be more productive. Do you think of it, Francis? In Africa, a lot of farmers are planting for the last 30 years with a disc plow. That means there's a hard pan of about 15 centimeters, okay, and then that the water can't penetrate deeper. By bringing a little planter, a ripper that can rip through it, you can harvest the water and you can get a proper root development. With the proper John Deere planter, we can get the correct seed spacing, fertilizer spacing, and by doing that, we call it the John Deere Smart Farm, where we try and show these technologies to new era farmers. We actually improved the yield from an average of 1.7 tons to something like 7.5 tons. Now that's massive when it comes to food security, when it comes to productivity for that farmer. The same is when it comes to large pieces of equipment where we've got self-adjusting combines leveraging artificial intelligence. So that's on the agricultural side. What's awesome is on the construction side, we've got stuff like smart grade. Now, hats off to all those grader operators. I didn't realize how challenging it is and what skill level you need in order to run that piece of equipment. With smart grade, we make it easy for a newer, less developed operator to run at the same efficiency. The most expensive operator is a grader operator. So we're trying to make it more efficient for the people running that pieces of equipment. The same applies when it comes to forestry. We have got a vested interest to ensure we've got our correct responsibilities to protect our forests, be as productive when it comes to harvesting these equipment, and we've got world-class technologies when it comes to forestry. In a nutshell, wanted to share that if that works for you, Francis.
So what I was saying is that we are in a continent where majority of farmers are still using the plow to work on their fields, and within the same space, we've got brands like yours with more than 100 years experience providing new technologies. So what I was asking is that how your brand and company is adopting technologies that can be taken up by the kind of clients that you have across the continent, where in terms of agriculture, technology is still a big gap. Most farmers haven't really taken up the right technology still. Yeah.
So we, I think I shared some of that already in the previous question, but let me build on it, okay? And maybe how do you, to add on to that, Francis, is how do we make technology affordable for new era farmers, okay? And what we as John Deere are doing, and we're quite proud, is what we've realized is not every farmer will be able to afford a tractor, ripper, planter package that I just explained in a previous question. But if what we've developed is new business models, and we call it, one of them is the tractor hiring model, okay, where you get a community to purchase together, or a family purchase a tractor and some implements together, and now they're doing a hiring for their community or their neighbors. So they work their farmland plus the local farmers around. By doing that, very, very quickly, you get that vested interest from a community with the right technologies, and you're actually creating a business with additional employment, because we've got two key issues in Africa. One is job. You need to create jobs, and the other one is food security. But with this equipment hiring centers, we believe we've got a great solution. The other piece that I want to ask, and what we always ask governments, is please don't give tractors away. We've done a few studies and realized for every, 46% of tractors that was given away from a government went to a tractor graveyard within 36 months. Now that's an alarming number. What we've done in the last 15 years as John Deere was first piloted and now worked, we call it the SMART campaign, working with governments to share what's the fundamentals. When you've got when a farmer is putting down a deposit, you get a buy-in. And then you've got a vested interest to make it work. And we've got success stories across this continent, from East to West Africa, on these on this. These are some really critical elements that we want to put on the table. Another element is we've got John Deere Financial that works with our dealer network on solutions for the farmer. As I said, we're looking from a small new era farmer all the way to large agro processors, and trying to find the right solution for the customer.
Okay. One thing we've noted, and I think we've reported on our Africa Inc. Magazine website, is of course you've recruited new trade partners recently, and of course you have a strategy. Now, getting new partners, rejigging your business, how do you think this move in getting new partners is going to work out for you? And then who is your kind of ideal partner? Who are the kind of partners you work with across the continent?
Okay, so you might be referring then, so we've made a few announcements. The one is on the construction. We're now responsible for construction and forestry. And it's actually a strategic plan for us, okay? As we've got these large dealer organizations across the continent that made huge investments in agriculture, okay? Now agriculture is actually quite cyclical, okay? You've got droughts and you've got quite challenges in different the different parts of Africa in different years. By bringing in the construction side, we overlay these two. They're never in the same trough at the same time, which means now my dealers can actually invest more. If you look at what goes into a dealership, there's a mammoth amount of investment when it comes to spare parts, the training, the technicians. Give you an idea, we've got more than 750 technicians at this point on this continent. Then it comes to the sales organization. Now we overlay the construction side. We can leverage a lot of the same infrastructure. Yes, the business, we're going to run the business as separate, because a customer on the construction side, you need to treat completely different than one on the agricultural side. But for the company overall, we feel this is the way forward, and this is the way we're going to help drive further investment and development in Africa. Africa needs infrastructure. We need to leverage our resources in Africa, and then the abundance in development of agriculture we want to tap on and bring additional infrastructure. Yes, we are the leading player on this continent, but there's way more that John Deere can do in order to evolve with the farmers on this continent. Then if I can add a second element, and that's we've added North Africa and Middle East as well, and that may be the second announcement that you saw, Francis. So there, we are used to dealing in sub-Saharan Africa with, every country is different. There's a lot of volatility. So now we've got specialists that know how to handle it in sub-Saharan Africa, and we're going to leverage our team to help grow our new dealers in North Africa and Middle East. And really looking forward to take this organization to the next level as we grow Africa.
Now, let us talk about the digital world, because everything is now digital. Every person is walking around with a phone across this continent, mobile money, and all manner of stuff. So, in terms of these three segments that you are focusing on, what is the opportunity around digital tools that can probably increase efficiency, reduce costs for the kind of customers you are looking and working for across the region?
Good question. What's amazing for me is it was actually 2 months ago. We can start traveling now if you've got used the right masks and so forth. Traveled to Ethiopia, and was next to a farmer that was plowing with an ox and a handheld plow, and he pulled out a smartphone and he showed me the commodity pricing. I'm like, just shows you what can happen in Africa on the one, but then luckily next to him the contractor came with the John Deere pieces of equipment. Now, farmers in Africa, for them, seeing is believing. They want to see the technology on this continent. The challenge is, it's a vast place, Africa. I think I referenced early on, where we launched last year with this pandemic a thing called Tech Terrain. Okay, now that's a digital platform where we share with farmers African stories and success stories of technology on the continent. For the viewers, please go to techterrain.co.za and have a look at these success stories from emerging farmers to large operations. And we're moving now into season 2, where we actually want to elaborate and expand. That's one element. Then if you talk Operation Center, now that's a cloud-based platform where we help farmers record and store all the data from yield mapping. In other words, their farm and what's the yield year over year you overlay. What is the seed placement? Because these days you can even variable rate your seed population based on the soil types. So you overlay that, your fertilizer application, and because it's in a digital, in a cloud-based platform, you can share it with your agronomist, you can share it with the seed supplier, fertilizer supplier. So we work with a lot of third parties. That's another element when it comes to the digitization. And then connected support. The size of Kenya, the size of Angola, okay, the size of the continent. How do you look after that pieces of equipment when it comes to the support? We've got something called connected support, where the tractor or the combine or the self-propelled sprayer itself will let the the farmer or the dealer know there's something that might go wrong. There might be some issue on a bearing, and will tell you to stop and let the dealer know to bring a different part. So we call it preventative maintenance linked with connected support. Those are new, relatively new for the continent. South Africa, we've been running it for a few years now, but some really great technologies we can leverage, and because we all we call it one Deere, these same technologies apply now for the construction side, and we are looking forward to bring those technologies to the construction industry as well.
Okay, now towards the end, let's now talk about the future. You've got a huge continent plus the Middle East. You've got a strategy, but then maybe can you share with us your kind of dreams and opportunities and challenges that you are looking forward to in the next 5 years to solve as a company?
If I can give you a virtual hug, I would, because it's a good question. We're quite bullish on the success of agriculture, construction, mining on this continent. There is no more arable land available. You can't make arable land. Okay, so the time for Africa to develop is now. That's why we're investing in these technologies. We're bringing in large organizations to run our dealerships, to help train and work with farmers, with contractors, with construction and mining operations, because we're sitting with all these resources that we can leverage. It's now, and we've got technology, Francis, that we can do it more efficiently. Okay, we can operate at the same level as farmers and operators in the rest of the world, and we've got the infrastructure. So we're quite bullish. We feel we're gonna expand. We're ramping up to support our dealers, with our dealers, our customers, as to the best of our ability. So we're quite bullish on the future of Africa. We've got dealers that's willing to invest. We've got the technology. We've got the portfolio to support mining operations, the construction, and then farmers, from the new era farmer all the way to the large corporate organizations across the continent. I do want to point out there's maybe a few challenges that hopefully there's some governments that might also listen to your program, and some of those challenges out there that will help improve food security and improve technology adoption is actually bureaucracy and red tape when it comes to establishing signals. For example, when it comes to GPS, you can see this tractor here next to me. These things can actually run autonomously for most of the operation, but you need specific signals. And as John Deere, we pride ourselves in doing things ethically. So it takes sometimes a heck of a lot of time in order to get the correct approvals from government. If there's ways for them to understand the urgency, that will definitely help. Another one is the high taxes and import duties, Francis. If you think of, what we can do to support farmers with new technologies, but then you look at the amount of taxes loaded on these new technologies, if there's a way governments can help reduce, definitely it will make an improvement on the productivity of agriculture, or even on the construction side. I thought I might just throw out those two, Francis, because here's the thing: we can bring all these things, but we also want to make sure we're a good corporate citizen in all the countries that we do business in, and get, do the right things. But sometimes you've got this bureaucracy that you're struggling to fight through.
Maybe a question that I should have asked earlier. Maybe like across the continent plus the Middle East, what kind of footprint do you have as you go towards the end? And do you have any manufacturing plants or service centers across the region? Just in brief.
It's a good question. So we run across the entire African continent, plus the near Middle East, with really strong dealer networks. We don't have per se a 100% manufacturing plant. We do have some local assembly that happens with that our dealers apply, actually across the entire continent, where we will do some local assembly on some of the smaller tractors, Francis.
Okay, we promised that we would want to do it in 30 minutes, but I just want to give you an opportunity really to make a point that we have left out. And if there's anything really that you might want to close with, this is a chance.
Okay, so Francis, thank you for your time. I want to recap and actually finish with our internal within Deere. We've got a new purpose statement, and that statement says, "We run so life can leap forward." It actually touches me almost emotionally when you think of how we supply equipment, but our equipment is actually helping the farmer far more productive, helping building infrastructure so we can get kids to schools. If you look at Africa, there's such a great piece of such vast opportunities, but we need to start somewhere, and the future is now. We're getting into a new era of development. There will always be issues, but with the right partners, Africa is the new frontier, and John Deere has been here from the start with mechanization, and we're going to leap Africa into the future and bringing technology, moving all of us to that next level. So thank you. We've got the best dealer network with the largest footprint. When there's questions, please search us on Facebook or on our website. Talk to our dealers. We would like to engage and help grow the business. Thank you.
Yeah, with that positive note, I think, Jaco, we are truly grateful to have gotten the time to talk to us. Nairobi and Joburg or Cape Town, they are not very far away from each other. But with these new tools, we're able to talk to innovators and entrepreneurs and the people who are really making it work across the continent. So we are really grateful that we got this opportunity to talk to you. And with those few remarks, I think we'll close. But let's keep talking. Let's keep talking as the business grows, and let's talk again after a year or two. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Appreciate it.